Hi everyone. Yeah, so I'm here today. You know certainly who I am. So I am Gam Burwell. I'm the founder of the Rockstar Wellness series. And today I bring with me a fantastic speaker. Her name is Michaela Kobel. And I met her as a Women Economic Forum. And we're going to discuss about one subject I believe a lot of women would like to know more about, which is leadership and confidence, because this is something most of the time we hear a lot on TV, on social media, but the way to be a leader and the way to become confident is, let's be honest, another matter. So let me introduce you to Michaela. Michaela.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gail. I so appreciate it. I'm so excited to be on your show, and I'm really looking forward at all the questions you're gonna ask, and just to have a nice conversation about leadership and confidence, which is my specialty.
Yes, so I know you are a confidence coach and you have a lot of experience. So from your experience, what can you tell us to help a woman to be more confident leaders?
You mean you want me to tell how to do that?
I think what is the missing link from your experience? What did you notice that we're missing to get to this point?
Well, I think first of all, what I see, like with women, especially the modern women, they still have a very wrong image of themselves, and this is actually one of the biggest reasons I believe that they have an energy that's real negative, that's real weak. Like when I believe that I'm weak, that I just don't have it to become a leader or become confident, that's the energy I send out. And this is how people react towards me. So I think this is really number one missing link, that women, especially women, they have a real distorted image of themselves. And this is where I help them to get a different image. And that changes everything.
Okay, so a question of energy, a question of image.
Yeah.
And when I think it's just a question to know where or how, you know, um, we can start to change this image. Is it an internal work that we need to do?
Yeah, it starts here with ourselves, but sometimes, and that it kind of sounds like a contradiction, but I believe sometimes to do that inner work, we need somebody from the outside who sees us, who
Yeah.
sees to our core, because we are so focused on our negative beliefs, on our limiting beliefs, on conditioning, that it's like it doesn't matter how much we read, how many affirmations we do, how often we meditate, we hit that wall of limiting beliefs.
Mm.
And if we have somebody like a coach, like a mentor or a good friend who
Yeah.
sees to the core of things, who sees you without all that behavior stuff, with all those issues, then we can start to see ourselves. And this is how we can actually start to change our image. And this is when things start to pick up, things start to change.
Okay. So to have someone to show us
Yeah.
what is not working or maybe the way we behave. Okay. And from your perspective, do you think it would be better for us to work to have supportive people around us in order for us to change slowly but surely in terms of confidence?
You mean being around those people?
Yes, being supported, by a kind of community
Yeah.
um, of
I,
positive people.
yeah, I think that's the environment plays a big role in our growth, in our development.
Yeah.
And I believe when we constantly surround ourselves with people who do not really support us, who do not see us, this is when we stop growing. And especially when you are a very sensitive person, and this is what I see in my work. There's a lot of women, they're introverts, they're very sensitive,
Okay.
and it's like when they are around people, maybe in their own family, that who are not supported, then it really does a lot of
Okay.
damage.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm aware, and from my experience as well, your environment is key. If you do not have people around you supporting you, cheering you on,
Yes,
supporting you to get out of your comfort zone, it's not going to happen. It's just like you need to be aware about it, or at least kind of pause the button on some relationship or some friendship, because I do believe when you really stretch yourself to grow, you're going basically to push people to see their own insecurities, and they don't like it
that's
because they're
true.
going to see that something they think it was not possible to do, that you can do it. And from my experience, I noticed it as well. They start to get jealous. They start to diminish what you're doing, undermine basically what you're trying to do. And it's really damaging for your self-worth and self-esteem. So I do agree with you, the environment is really important. But if we do not have this environment, do you think what can we do? Really, I think to develop, this inner confidence.
I think when you don't have anyone, first you got to be clear yourself what you really want. What
Mhm.
really makes it kind of sounds a little pathetic, but what makes your heart sing? What do
Mm.
you really want? What's inside of you? And I think a lot of these problems come up because women, they're just not aware of what they really want, and they do not dare to actually admit that to themselves. They do have desires, they have passions, they have whatever they have. They're very scared to admit to themselves,
Yeah.
let alone to somebody else, to someone else, and so they keep that inside of them. So what actually helps, but here again, I think it's very hard to do it for yourself.
Mm.
I've been working with horses for a long time, so I just want to tell you, because what I'm talking a lot about instincts and about the core.
Okay.
So and it's quite interesting when you reach to the core of things, you can change things around. But if and you need a safe space to do that
Yeah.
with horses and with
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
So if you are able by yourself to create that safe space for you, so you see what you really want, who you really are, then it's you can pretty much do anything. But
Mm.
like I said in the beginning, a lot of times we do need somebody who gives us that safe space where we can see ourselves maybe for the first time. So, of course, the inner work, everybody talks about it: affirmations, meditations, reading books, going to seminars, get coaching. You can do all that. But
Yeah.
what I see is that a lot of times we have so much stuff in our heads. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of knowledge. It's like,
It's true.
yes, I know what you're talking about. I got it. But they don't feel it. They don't
It's
feel
true.
it. So it's like, and I always say it's not about knowing enough. It's about knowing that you know. That's the difference. We're talking about awareness. Once you know that you have it, you can use it. If you have all the knowledge but you don't feel it,
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
wasted.
Yeah. I
And
love
this,
this because it's coming back to the fact that if your mindset is not aligned with your well-being, it's the same. Is heart, hair, and head.
yeah,
And I do believe that yes, if it's not connected to your heart, it's not going to work.
no,
Knowledge, I'm okay. Knowledge is power, and I do agree with that. But I really, me, from my personal experience, I do believe that is when you really apply this knowledge, that this is empowerment for women. So if really they put themselves in a position, instead of learning, making affirmation, reading books and everything, they step back more from this doing and this hustle. They connect
yes.
with themselves.
Big one. I so agree with that,
Yeah.
connecting with yourself. I think this is one of the most important things, because I think, and this is what I see, that a lot of women, they're just not connected to themselves.
Yeah.
They're connected to some kind of thinking about themselves, how they should be. And that goes back to that a lot of times negative self-image that they have.
Yeah.
So they're not really connected to their core, to their authentic self. And when we're talking about confidence and leadership, I believe that you cannot be confident and you cannot become a leader if you're not authentic.
Yeah, I do
Then
believe in that.
it's fake, and then it doesn't really work.
Yeah, totally.
It has to come from here, and you can only be authentic when you're connected. And when you're connected, then it's like almost a byproduct that you're confident, because also this is, you were asking about the missing link that a lot of women have that keeps them from being confident. And I think is that they just, they just don't know that they have this strength inside of them. And so that's, to me, that's one of the biggest things. Help that woman become aware of what she has, and then help her use it. What you said in the beginning. She needs to put what she knows into practice. And there's got to be somebody on her side who kind of supports her and says, hey, takes her by the hand and says, you can do that. I believe in you. And then she will start believing in herself.
Yeah, it's just like, it's quite interesting because I do believe that when you have a passion and really you pursue this passion, no matter what, despite the barriers, despite the roadblocks, you really can get to this confidence. The way I started my business was just from a passion. I was passionate basically to empower women and to see them be visible and confident as ever. And I think it's really the fact that I connected all the time to my passion who pushed me so far. So yes, they really need to connect to what they love to do. What lights them up, what puts you on fire, what makes you smile, what makes you more excited. And I do believe that, yes, there is this conditioning from society and culture that what a woman should behave. And it's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's we're talking about this collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And I think even a lot of women, they're not aware of it, but they carry that consciousness inside of them. And this is how they go out into the world. And this is what they attract and what they get. And that keeps them from being pretty limited, So yeah, I think it's so important for women to connect to their core, so they can see their real true self. Because when you talk about passion, I think every woman should be real passionate about being her true authentic self. And once you find that out, or I believe that, I would say pretty much every woman maybe has had that once in her lifetime, just experience some kind of passion. Yeah. And if you just think about what it does to you, it's like what you said, you can go through any obstacle. When you are passionate about something, obstacles, they just do not exist, right? You go right through them or over them because you have so much power. And to really, and this passion is a sign that you are connected with your true authentic self, because only there you find that passion. If you don't feel passion, it's just a sign you believe that lie that everybody keeps telling you and what you keep telling yourself. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, I think women are telling them a lot of stories. A lot of stories in the background as well. I think a lot of layers of stories adding up. So that's why I think when they start to work on themselves, it's like peeling an onion, you remove the layer of the onion and you discover your authentic self. But I think the question as well, if they dare really, to connect with themselves. Because I do believe that every woman knows deep down.
Yes, me too.
They are very strong, they are very resilient, they bounce back so much,
Yeah.
They know.
I agree. I think it's all about being ready. And what you said about the onion, I love that picture as well, just peeling off all the layers. But there comes a time when a woman is really ready. You don't have to peel off. You just go right to the core. It's like, hey, show me who I am. And then she's connected. And then everything else makes sense. Everything else she has ever learned, she has ever read, she has ever done makes sense. And but it has to come from the core. But you're right. I completely agree. It's about when you are ready, it happens. But you cannot force someone to get
No.
to that point. It's the same, and I have to go back to the horses because that's also where this is my expertise here. You cannot force a horse to do something when they are not ready. You can kind of help them to get ready, but you
Yeah.
cannot make them do something when they say no.
No, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But if I have a message to share for all women listening to us, watching us right now,
Yeah,
is really to think about everything that you love to do. You know,
yeah,
just think about it, what lights you up, what makes you feel on fire. Like, yeah, like the song of I don't remember the name of the singer, but Girl on Fire is exactly that. Is this feeling,
yes,
this
yeah,
fire they have within them. And I know they have it. But you know, do they dare? Do they dare to
yeah.
show it? Because
Yeah,
sometimes you have some fears, you have some limiting belief, you have some, you think that you have to be this way and another way, and they don't dare. But when you remove all of that and you just really focus on what matters, they already have the strength, this inner strength. Um, Question of courage as well, because sometimes the environment around them is not really helpful. Let's face it.
that's
Um,
right.
and it's a question to set boundaries, is a question to be more assertive,
Yeah,
um, and to stop being a people pleaser as well. A lot of women are people pleasers.
yes, yes. And this is a big holdup too. You're right. Why a lot of women are not confident. It's not because they cannot be confident. It's because they think when I'm more assertive, when I claim my space, when I say no, people may not like me. And this
Exactly.
is why they don't do it. Instead, and this is the interesting thing, this is what I see with women, with horses. Once they do claim their space, once they do say no, people start to respect them. People start to trust them. They become attractive. It's just the opposite happens.
I
And once a
completely
woman
agree.
feels that, what happens when she's just more herself, it's like then she wants to do it, then she wants to keep doing it because it feels so good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, no, I completely agree with that because it's true. When they just test a little bit of the power they have by being
Yeah.
themselves,
Yes.
wow, you can see them just
Yes.
blossoming.
It's
And I
like,
love that. I love
yeah,
to see them this way more and more,
me too.
because we need more women empowered every day and not being afraid, to play flat and to be themselves unapologetically. Um, so yeah, no, it's quite.
Yeah, and what you said before about it's about being connected to the heart and following your heart. I mean, this is what courage is, right? I mean, you know that you're French. Cœur, heart. It
Yeah,
follow your heart. It's
yeah,
that's
definitely.
courage. That's courage. The way of the heart. And I think we women we're made to follow our hearts.
It's
We
true.
are. Yeah.
It's true. We have a fantastic emotional intelligence.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
able to tune into the emotion of others, to help them, to cheer them on. But I just would like for women to have this kind of energy, attention for themselves.
Yeah, but there's something I have to add to that because this is what I hear a lot of women say. Well, they don't do that. They're not confident. They don't assert themselves because they say I'm not worth it. They don't do it for themselves. They cannot do it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Speak up for themselves. But they say, well, if it's about somebody else, I
Yeah,
can do it. So I tell them because I know they struggle with that thing. I tell them, you know what? It doesn't matter for who you do it. If you think if you cannot do it for yourself, do it for me. Do it for everybody else. Because once you start being more assertive, and it doesn't mean like being dominant and bitchy, and it's not about that. But you become a role model for other women and you give them permission
you
to
give them
express
permission.
themselves because it's all about self-expression, right?
Yeah, this
So
is big. Yeah,
yeah, because I sometimes really feel that they have a hard time doing it for themselves. And I find it
true.
a lot easier to say, then do it for somebody you really love. Do it for him or for her. And
Okay,
then they start getting the hang of it.
slowly
And
but surely. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's really, yeah, I love what you said. I love what you said about to give themselves permission,
Yeah.
because this is something that I see so many times, even with me sometimes when I think the last time I spoke to my business coach and she said, Miguel, it's just a question to give yourself permission.
Yes.
And it's really ingrained in our consciousness that we
I
need to
know.
get permission to do something. And when you do realize it, you say, my
Yeah.
God, why? Why is it so much
Crazy.
ingrained?
And sometimes, and even though it's a mind game, but sometimes it really helps if somebody else from the outside, some kind of authority, says, "I give you permission. Now
Yeah,
you can do it." Sometimes it helps, and I'm very pragmatic. I say, I don't freaking care what it is. If it helps you, use it.
yeah, okay. If it helps you to move forward,
Yeah,
okay. But I
do it.
like the fact that they need to be comfortable with that as well.
Yes.
They need to they need to learn to take their space. And I know it's not necessarily easy. There are a lot of fears, and seeing women putting themselves out there, most of the time, you know, for us, is really positive, but for the rest of the society, they don't get it. Let's
That's
face
right.
it.
Yes.
When a woman made a mistake, is the end of the world. Okay. When it's a man, is another matter. It's like it's possible. That's why as well a lot of women are afraid. They don't want to, yes, they don't want to experience this failure. They don't like it. And I
Yeah.
do understand from their point of view that they really created their bubble of happiness as much as they want to, as they feel safe and everything, and they're afraid. They're
Yeah.
scared just to get out of there. But I do believe that when you have this passion within you, when you know that you need to do something for ages, that is coming back on you every day, it's just your spirit telling you to go for it.
Yes.
At a moment, you have to listen to it. You have just to take a leap of faith.
Yeah. And you do it when you're ready, and sometimes the pressure has to build up to a certain point where you have to break out of your shell. And since you mentioned failure, this is also a big thing I see with a lot of women. They are so afraid of making a mistake, but once they embrace making a mistake, which I don't think is a mistake, it's just
No, it's not.
experiment around, just do something, just figure out something. You
Yeah,
can't do anything wrong. Just do something. As long as you take one step at a time, be easy, and see
yes.
how far you've come. Just pat yourself on the shoulder and say, hey, I did a
On
good
the
job.
back, I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also a thing that a lot of women don't do. They always see the thing they haven't done, and they cannot acknowledge themselves for their success, even if it's tiny, little, small.
Yes, that's why I'm telling to them, celebrate your successes.
Yes, and this is why we
Small,
need people, right, who
yes.
celebrate with
So,
us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Elevate us and say, uplift us and say, did you see what you did?
Yes.
It's like I was speaking with a friend 2 days ago. And I said to her, you know what? I did realize that I created a business from nothing.
Wow.
And she looked at me and she said, oh God, this is the same for me. I said, but did you imagine from nothing, from just one tiny idea that you have in your mind, you
Wow.
created a business in 1 year?
Cool.
This is
Yeah.
the kind of stuff, and I do agree that we forget so easily, but it's so important to keep this in mind.
Yes. And about this perfection thing, I think, when you're so afraid of making a mistake, when you're afraid to fail, it's a lot of these women, they're perfectionists. I'm a perfectionist myself. And
And I'm an X one, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I really have to learn to embrace imperfection and to be okay when I suck, and actually start to like it. And it takes so much pressure off when you say, you know what, I
That's
do not
true.
have to be perfect. And when you look at it, when you're around people who are perfect, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they don't
It's,
feel good. It's
yeah.
like they feel cold. You don't really want to be in their space because you feel they're so far away from you. So it actually makes you more approachable, and it makes you more easy on yourself when you just say, you know what, so I suck, big deal.
Yeah, it's not the handle. But I like it because me, from this point of view, it's quite interesting. I was also a perfectionist. I have to say I was perfectionist, control freak, a little bit in between. Okay.
Hmm.
But now I have more compassion for these people now because I
Yeah,
know what they experiencing every day. When you see a woman like a international speaker, very groomed, very elegant, she has a way to be, that behind it, there is a perfectionist, you know,
yes,
and
yes,
and this is where I think, and I do agree with you, we are much more approachable because we
yeah,
can see it, we can see, you can see the cracks. It's not in a bad way, but you can see the cracks behind the
yes,
person.
yeah,
And you think about yourself and you say, no, I did it before. And okay, I can see where you're going with that, but
yeah,
it's your life. Is you're going to realize it. I have more compassion now.
yeah, me too.
I'm more in a detached way saying, okay, this is your style, this is what you like and everything.
Yeah,
But it's not affecting me anymore.
good for you.
And I
Good for
think
you.
a woman needs to get to this point where, you know what, they did the perfectionism, they did the people pleaser mojo, they did the being nice to everyone, and yes, they look at the result and they lost to themselves, they say, okay, I'm done. I did it and now I'm doing my way.
Yeah, you're right. And sometimes, yeah, they have to come to the point where they completely exhaust themselves because they're trying so hard. I mean, I really I know what I'm talking about. But sometimes you really have to hit rock bottom because of that and say, you know what, I've tried it the tough way. I've tried to struggle, I've tried to fight, I've tried to push it, to force
Yeah.
it. It hasn't worked. So maybe I should try something else
But
and let it go.
most of the time, Michaela, it's coming when we hit rock bottom. Me,
Yeah.
I hit rock bottom a month. I was very to the edge of burnout. And I said, something is not right. Something needs to change right now. And I stepped back. This is why I started to step back. I started to dive into personal development and say, okay, what's going on in this world? What can I get from it? What do I need to learn? And yeah, I realized I needed to really slow down. And when I did it, wow, it was, it's like you discovering your words. And I
Yeah.
was, wow, yes. And I was so happy in a way. I said, this is the best of things happening to me to eat rock bottom because I learned so much. I changed so much my life that now I'm done. I'm moving forward.
Good for
And
you.
yes, I do agree with you. Most of the time, we are a bit stubborn.
Yes.
Let's face
Yes. Yes.
we're a bit stubborn. We need to hit rock bottom.
Yeah. 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 And then I think it's also about attitude. When I have my belief is I'm here on this planet to grow, to learn, to fall, to get up. This is this is part of the game. And then when you fall, it's not as bad because it's part of the deal we call life, right?
Yeah,
But if there's so many women out there, they say, well, I want to be comfortable. No, I don't want to be challenged. No, I just want things to stay like they are. They do not want to expand. And of course, for them, any kind of change, any kind of disruption is horror,
I
is
will.
terrible.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they avoid it. But when you say, you know what, I know it's part of the deal. So I get some scratches, some skinned up knees, cotton picking deal.
Yeah.
But at least I grow. And I think when you have that attitude, that kind of goes along with this passion. I think it's kind of like a universal passion to grow, to expand, to
Yeah.
make new experiences. And through everything you learn or you experience, you learn or you get to see parts of you that you haven't seen before, you know, because life sometimes puts us in positions where we'd normally never ever go. It's like if it was up to me, I would never go there. But life said, "Hey, I think you need to go there because you need to learn certain things." When
Yeah.
you see the
It's
big
just,
picture, it's a lot easier to cope, and it's not about becoming bitter or becoming like rough, but it's like, oh, okay, oh, I see that. And when a new challenge comes up, then you can relax about it more and say, okay, I know there's a reason for that. I don't see it now, but I know
Yeah,
there is a reason. And that takes the pressure off, puts you in a more relaxed state, because I believe this whole thing about confidence is about being in a state of serenity. You cannot be confident and you cannot be a leader if you're not calm and
it's
have this
true.
relaxed attitude about you. And that comes from seeing the big picture. This is what I believe.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Especially in regards to evolving as a human being. Because when you think about it, you're working with horses for so long. It's linked to the nature as well. Nature is evolving
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same for us. Ourselves are evolving every day. So why are we going to try to stop something which is natural, which is innate to us as human beings? And I think when you got this understanding, even in regards to change, it's exactly the same. All the time when a change is coming is for you to grow.
You bet.
This is a way of life. It's like I think for me, there is a phase of creation, there is a phase of maintenance, and there is a phase of destruction. Destruction most of the time is where the change is coming.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and because it's so big, it's so wow. Say, whoa, 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 what's going on? I can't. But the less you resist, the more
Yeah.
you surrender, and the
Yes.
more you become a leader.
About the surrendering, that's interesting, because a lot of people get that wrong and they think surrendering means giving up.
Mm.
Like, all right, no,
Mm-mm.
surrender is different. I know you know the difference, but some may not know the difference. Surrendering is not saying, all right. It's actually this, yeah, being in peace with what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of being detached, but in a conscious way. It's just
Yeah,
knowing without being involved.
yeah, that's a good one. I
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I know what's going on and I'm going to let it go. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because we are too much used to be in control. And
Yeah.
that's why people basically think that surrender is giving up. But
Yeah.
who said that basically you're going to give up?
Yeah.
Who said that you're going to give up? You're still in the drive. You're still on the driver. You're still
Yeah.
the driver of your life.
That's right.
But you accept basically to step back and see what is going to go along.
There's a good parallel with the horses. I had this great mentor. It was, yeah, almost 30 years back now, and he taught me to ride young horses. And he always kept saying, you know what, you gotta learn to stay out of the horse's way. Meaning, do not disturb a young horse, especially in its movement. They just start to travel. They have you on their back. They don't have balance yet. So sit on them as if you were not sitting on them. Don't interfere. And
Wow.
that's actually, when you put that onto life, let's say horse is life,
Mm-hmm.
don't get into the way of life. Stay on it, stay with it, don't interfere, kind of guide, but don't hold back, don't stop, just let it go and don't interfere with the movement. And this is such a powerful picture for me, because I
Mm.
know how it feels, but that's actually the very same thing. And it's not about surrendering to the horse and let the horse do whatever it wants. It's like, I give you, I let you go. I
Yeah.
let you go. I give you space, and that's in the full consciousness, and that's really great to do
No,
that.
I love this analogy. Yeah, because this is exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's a question of trust as well.
Ah. If we talk about trust, we can talk for another couple hours.
That's true.
Trust is a big thing. Trusting in yourself, trusting in life, and this also, I think, a belief that if you believe that life is for you and it happens for you instead of to you, or that life wants to punish you. I thought that for the longest time. For the longest time, I was convinced that life was out there to punish me because of all the shit that was happening in my life, right?
Okay.
And but then there came a time. It took a very long time for me to realize that, hey, life is not here to punish you, because I thought all these bad things that were happening was a punishment. But actually, life said, you know what? You're just going off track. We have to direct you back to where you're supposed to go. So it was not to punish me, but just to get me back on track.
On the
And
right track.
now I see it. So yeah.
But it's quite interesting, because it's always after that you see why you derailed this way, or why you think you failed when you didn't fail. In fact, it was just cross correction, basically, of where you needed to be. So, no, trust is a big subject as well. Maybe we'll speak about it another day. Yeah.
Yes, we should. We should.
But I think we're going to stop here.
Yeah, I know.
It has been 36 minutes. We discussed a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and my passion is really for women to see that it's possible to be a confident leader.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
If she's authentic, that's, I think,
Yes,
one of the
really.
biggest things. When she's authentic, she cannot not be confident.
It's true. It's true, because she accepted to be herself.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, gorgeous. I think we're going to stop here.
Yeah.
As you see, it was a long discussion with Michaela, but it was pretty awesome. And I'm pretty sure you got some very good gems right now to know how to be a confident leader. So we're going to leave you here, and I will see you next week. I think I have a next one coming up on Thursday for you. And you're going to love it as well. But in the meantime, have a very great day, and I send you so much love. And thank you, Michaela, to have been here. It was a pleasure.
Gail, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a privilege, and I really loved it. You're a great gal.
Oh, thank you so much. Send you so much love, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.